it's sunny. It's really nice, and I hope that you guys have time. If you have time, I hope that go to beach and then enjoy the weather. It's really nice weather. Last weekend, it was Korean, so Thanksgiving Day and weekend, and then so my younger one stopped by home. Not for the Thanksgiving, she had time, so she wanted to spend the time together with the family. Yeah, we had breakfast at the beach. It's really nice. So maybe with your friends and maybe if you have family, and try to go to beach and spend the time together. And I think it's good for your psychological and mental health. Anyway, I always kind of start the class with the weather. We've been talking about the foundation of the Christian education. So how can we get the biblical education from the Bible, right? That's a biblical principle from the Bible, and then that's a biblical foundation. How can we get to the knowledge of the Bible, and then study the Bible and get some principles and theologies, and then how to get these Christian theologies integrate to our education. That basically give us some idea about the contents of Christian educations, and how these contents kind of integrate to our education. That's a theological foundation, and then we talk about the philosophical foundation. It's related to worldview, how you understand the world, right? And there is a theological foundation, the philosophical foundation. So actually, philosophy is really abstract, but still give us the directions, and we analyze and synthesize and apply the principle to our educations, right? There is a philosophical education, so we learn about how to kind of think, right? And our the ultimate realities, and then we talk about the system of knowledge, and we talk about the values, ethics, and then that's a basic idea about education. And then we come to the historical foundation, and then how we look through the kind of education, so from ancient time to nowadays. And that's a historical foundation, because historical foundation maybe give us some insight to apply to the nowadays educations. And then I know society is totally different, but even though it's different, but we can get some insight from our past. So that's why we went over a historical foundation. And then we talked about educational foundation, talk about educational theory, the philosophies and theories. So how the basic kind of direction of the education, and what kind of theories there. And then today we're going to talk about the curricular foundation. So curricular foundation, actually we need all these things, and biblical, theological, and philosophical, and educational and historical foundations. Without those foundations, we cannot make a curriculum. So let's jump into the specific content. What is the curriculum? What is curriculum? Maybe when you study here, and then maybe if you study Christian education, the whole curriculum is here, right? Someone already set the curriculums based on what they consider the philosophy of schools and mission of the schools, and they think about the programs, and then what they wanna do with this program and how help their students, right? And then what kind of content we need and how we deliver this, the content to the student like this, and then but that's already set up, so maybe a lot of students take it granted, right? But let's talk about the curriculum. Curriculum is broadly defined as the totality of the student experience that occurs in the educational process, which really focus on the student. Okay, they don't talk about how they make a curriculum, but that's really focus student experience that occurred in the learning process, educational process. That's true. So regardless of, and then there is a methodologies there, there's a content is there, and even though they don't think about the mission statement, they don't think about the purpose statement, but still each class is there, and student kind of process the knowledge and the process the skills, to equip themselves for the future. That is one other definition. Another definition is here, and then refers specifically to a planned sequence of instruction. Planned is very intentional, right? Or to a view of the student experience in terms of educators or schools instructional goal. Under the kind of instructor goal, whenever I come to this class, and even though I don't say about the goal of this class, and I'm thinking about, this is today we're gonna talk about the curriculum foundation, and what is my goal, right? And through the program, they have goal to achieve through this class, like this, and then there is educators, schools instructor goals there, and then but still students experience a whole sequence of instructions, right? And you can see what is the kind of a common first and second definitions, right? And really, there is a curriculum is here, but they don't explain about maybe when you start to school and then college, and when you come to school, and then maybe, I want to study Christian education, and you don't know about anything, and what they want to teach you, and what is the first year class, the second year class, and what is the special project, and you want to know everything, and maybe you can meet the counselor, you can meet the dean, and then like this, and then when I came to America, and then I went back to school, so I studied psychology, and then when I was in Korea, I think I didn't have kind of a process to explain the whole things, and you go to first year, and you take this whole kind of a spreadsheet is there, and then this is general education, and that's the elective, this requirement, and if you wanna graduate, you gotta take this class, and general education and requirement, and then you gotta take more classes from the selected classes, right? Elective classes, and then if you when you finish like a total around 120 credit, including requirement and G and other, and you can graduate. So there is no specific year, or this is a 1 year, second year, like elementary and primary education or secondary education, and then they already fixed the schedule, right? But here, when I was in Korea in college, and every class is kind of fixed, and there's not much choice. Choice was there, and then but here, and then whatever you like, and then you can take the class. Sometimes you can take a senior class, and sometimes you can take a junior class. You can go if you didn't take any G class and go back and with the other classmates. There's a lot of different variety way that you can manage your classes. But that's your experience, right? But you can see the what classes are required to graduate, right? And how many units you have to. There's and you talk to counselor, maybe you can make appointment, you can make an appointment and go to counselor or first year and second year, third year, and then you gotta finish those class and give them some guidance. Yeah, you can get some guidance from the counselor, and then you follow the direction. But that doesn't work all the time, because sometimes a lot of students, kind of demanding to take the classes, and then sometimes you cannot register the class because your priority. So when I was in college, and a lot of students, and then I went to the Catholic Pomona, and then the class size is kind of fixed and then limited, and then there's priorities there with social security number last digit, and they assign, okay, this time, and what's a specific days there, and then you can register class, and then okay, second priority and third priority, and if you in the third priority, it's hard to get a right class that you really want, like that. Anyway, through the whole process, that's the part of curriculum. You experience a lot of things, and different classes and different content, and sometimes even you study in psychology, but still for the holistic education, you gotta take some science class, some philosophy class, like this, right? Not just limited to your major class. So I took the biology. I took the biology when I was in high school, first, second years, and then that's it. And then I didn't took a lot of science classes, but I never got to the lab because of the science class, and then I started going to lab and practice something, experiment something, kind of interesting, but still it was hard. So anyway, that's a student experience. Here is another definition. So refer your curriculum as a set of learning goals. Learning goal is there, articulated across grade. If you are in college, and from the freshman through senior, and first grade to sixth grade to eighth grade, ninth grade, and 12th grade, like that. Outline the intended mathematics content already, all the contents are calculated. So how many hours assigned to each class, and a process go at a particular point in time through a certain period of time. There is a basic, it's more specific education. There's a goal is there, and then just think about whole year, college year, and high school year, and junior high school, and elementary year, whole class, your process. There is a intentionally you gotta assign, and you gotta assign the classes and content to which year, and then through the process, and achieving the goals. So in my opinion, for me, it's like a third definition. Kind of I can imagine what is the curriculum is there, and still I know that even though I don't, I can say maybe one, two definitions really from the student's perspective, and then maybe third definition from kind of who make the curriculum, design the curriculum, and set kind of curriculum, right? And they think about how we could make and curriculums and how we respond to the curriculum by students. And for this quarter, and then we use the Pasolino, the book, and then he kind of give us some insight for the curriculums, and then he said curriculum is the content that is made available to students. That's right? He said about content, and curriculum is the planned and guided learning experience of a student. That's true. And you gotta take this class, and after this class, and there's guidelines there. But some classes are like this, and this is a really hard class, and if you wanna take this class, and then there's a prerequisite class, and you gotta take like maybe when there is sexual behavior, human sexuality is there, and then one is approached by the psychology, one is approached by biology. So I gotta take those classes, but still, if you wanna take the biology, this class, and you gotta take certain classes. That's prerequisite. That's some classes are open to everybody, but some introduction to the psychology, and but some classes is hard, and they need some foundation for the advanced classes. So that's what it means. And then curriculum is the actual experience with student or participant. Actually, they expose the student, and then they experience what it's about. Maybe think about, you don't know sometimes when I teach the class, you don't think about what's the mission statement of this school, what's the mission, what's the purpose of this program, but always it's written on the syllabus, right? And but still, sometimes we ignore because it's not that important to us, but still, as an educator, and I gotta see what are the program, the purpose of the program, and what really wants to achieve through this class, right? How can I connect with the purpose of these programs? That's why students sometimes they don't know about specific and intention and specific way of the curriculum, but still they experience. And he said generally curriculum include both materials and experience for learning, especially curriculum is the written courses for study used for Christian education. So whether it's Christian education or not, and still, written courses for studies. It's really simple, and we can understand what it means. And then curriculum is the organizational learning activities guided by the teacher with the intent of changing behavior. It's not Christian education is not just delivering knowledge and kind of hand down the skills. And then really Christian education is focused on to become like Jesus Christ, imitate Jesus Christ, like Jesus Christ, a perfect man and 100% human, 100% God and 100% human being, and then He is our example. So we can see what is His life, and we can learn about His life and His teachings and His work in the Bible, and then we wanna imitate Him. But just think about He's different from us, and then that's why Christian education is kind of helping help the student to transform their life to become like Jesus Christ. In addition of the what? Knowledge and skills. There is a big difference between Christian education and other educations. Yeah, there is an understanding of a simple understanding of curriculum that he summarized, and then it's easy way, but still it means that you gotta consider what we need when you design curriculums. So here is some basic questions for curriculum designs, and what especially should be thought. Okay, just take out a sheet of paper and then write down what especially should be thought. Not just following, depends on, just think about Christian university have their own philosophy of education, and even though UC and Cal State, and they have a different philosophy of education. So Cal State really focus on the practicals, and the UC is a little bit focused on the academics, and a little bit different approach, right? And so think about, and when you wanna make a program, what do you think? Just sitting down and and maybe if you are a Sunday school teacher, and then think about you need next Sunday you need to kind of lead the activity. It's not a program but one activities, and then what is the goal of activities? You have to think about it. Maybe if you are an educator and think about and what you're gonna do, and then especially just think about, and then what? Why should this area be taught? Okay. Maybe you have a lot of thought, like Christian education, and this is philosophy education class, and then Christian education, and then why should these class be taught? That's a question, right? Where is the teaching being done? Where? Classroom? And sometimes maybe activities, and then maybe mean that we're going to have outdoor, and then maybe we can have online, like this, and then sometimes projects, and then just think about where, right? And where is the teaching being done, and then how the teaching to be done, how specific methodology, how you teach the class, right? And who should barriers area be taught. I think it's a taught. I think it's not taught. Taught. So sorry. And so what specifically should be taught, and content, and then who, or when should be various area be taught, right? I think my spelling is wrong. And what, when, and who is being taught, and who is teaching. So think about teachers and think about students, and different demographic and different socioeconomic status, right? And depends on the student, and then teaching style may be different, and then depends on the teachers, and then student will learn effectively or not effectively, like this. And then what organization principle holds all together, like school and churches and the outside organizations, and which organization be. So what means that what specifically should be taught means that class, and then it means the content we need. Why should this area be taught? And there's a specific reason. Maybe complement student learning, maybe open the other area, and then why, right? And then where and how, methodology and where, like this. And then these questions gives us kind of a specific idea about how we start the curriculum design. Yeah, so this is not thought, it's a thought. Really weird. And people studying the curriculum and think about already big questions, and then think about and purpose of education. Why is the purpose of education of this school and this church is like this? And what are the contents? We already talked about, but a little bit different word, and knowledge, skills, characters, and values, and then what? Actions. How? Very specific, right? And then sometimes, what is a structure? What is education, pedagogies, and what about evaluation? Not just, okay, let me just arrange a lot of classes and then first year this and that, but it's hard to achieve the goal of education. If you wanna produce right persons who really equipped with the Christian education, and then think about the five questions, and then think about what's the purpose of education, and then what kind of curriculum they need. Maybe we cannot use the word always like 20 years ago book and 30 years ago book. Society keep developing and evolving, right? And different theories coming out, and people are really influenced by society and trend and cultures, right? And how can we kind of our Christian education, our education can integrate with kind of something is going on in this society, and then help them and give them right kind of knowledges and skills. So yeah, people will start and clearly maybe purpose of education from your foundation of educations and also curriculums, and then kind of purpose kind of draws what kind of object is the content, and then how can you do that? And there's a lot of theories there, right? Educational theories there, and then educational philosophy and theories there. And this biblical or not biblical? And then how can we adopt the theory, philosophies and theories, to our Christian faith? And there is four different types of curriculum, some papers, and three types of curriculum, and there was mainstream curriculum and hidden curriculum and null curriculum, but here is kind of different types of curriculums, and here is four types of curriculum, and as explicit curriculum, and then explicit curriculum like mainstream curriculum is the subject will be taught, and the knowledge, skills, under school, knowledge and skills can deliver to the student, and the student master the knowledge and skills. That's a display curriculum. Like, okay, display curriculum like this, and then, oh, first year you gotta take this class for the Christian education. Second year, and you gotta take these classes, and third year you gotta take this class. But for the masters, we set the basic programs, and if you go to elementary, primary, and secondary education, not much choices, but still little choice when I saw my children's education, schooling, and but when you have a higher education here, and then go to college, and then a lot of choices open, right? And there is specifically, I own a major business, and then okay, school design program like this, and there is a general education you're gonna take, and then there is a kind of a requirement class. First year, second year, some classes required to take the third year classes, right? Maybe sometimes writing classes, and then we have to take the English, college English like this, and then there is a specific, very clear, and there's a curriculum, and there's a implicit curriculum, sometimes hidden curriculum, and the curriculum is really not shown directly, but based on the cultures, and then maybe school culture and classic culture, and then something is intended, right? If you don't want to teach, if you want to write on the board, but still, okay, how can you develop the kind of working together? Okay, maybe cooperate each other, and then maybe you don't have to do that, and then but still, oh, here is project. It's write, maybe someday research and writing a paper and making something like that, and they divided into groups, and then they have their own things like this, but still hidden programs why you really wanna get to a group project like this, and then you don't intend it, but behind is there, and then like a classroom is there, and then kind of really democratic and open kind of class atmosphere and culture, and the student, if they have a question, is come out without hesitations, they want to raise hand as question, but teachers already control the classroom and not much given time to the student, and then they just sitting there passively. Like this, culture, right? School culture and class culture. And but what even though don't teach like in the explicit curriculum, then what you are expecting from the curriculum. So always think about that one. Explicit curriculum is there, and then how can you deliver this knowledge in a more effective way? Maybe you can kind of a little bit add some activities, and then like this, and then even though there is not, and they can learn, and they can equip, so they can be equipped. Null curriculum is null curriculum is that. Null curriculum is kind of it's hard to teach a subject like sexualities and evolution in the classroom, it's very limited. That one is really influential to students' life. One of the examples is that, and the options students are not the things now taught in the classroom. And think about it, now there's a lot of issues on children's sexualities, and then tensions, and then between the parents and teachers and schools, and It's a lot of things going on, but we cannot teach specifically in the classroom, but still give some influence. That's a null curriculum, so we gotta remember that one. And another one is extracurricular curricular experience, and then think about some activities, and then some sports, and then maybe field trips, and then extracurricular help the student to achieve the goal of the education in certain topics, right? Yeah, that is really important. So America is really they focus on sports, and my daughter played sports, and then for high schools, and my younger one for college as well. But still, when they are in high school, and then they play basketball and volleyball and football, American football and soccer, and there's a lot of sports out there students join and play. So there's two teams, and one of the teams we call the varsity, and they play well, and they compete with there's conferences there, right? Section is there, and about 10 schools, 12 schools, and they compete each other. And there's a varsity and there's a junior varsity. Junior varsity maybe they never exposed to the sports, but still they learn, but they are not that high level. But there's other school, there's a junior varsity is there, and they compete each other like this. There's extra curriculum, and actually helps to achieve the goal of education. So this is kind of different types of curriculum. So when you design the curriculum, when we design the curriculum, always we gotta think about this content. What is the goal of education? Effectively, they teach the student, right? Students will be equipped by knowledge and skills. Who can help them to develop their character as well, right? And so how can we make this curriculum effectively to help the students? So 4 types, these types are really important for the educations and for when you design the curriculums, right? Here is kind of how can we start the curriculum, and there is a specific kind of ideas, and then how can we do, and then what is the think about what's the Steinberg and Silbert and Seaman kind of developed these models, and the first steps was missions. What is the aims? What is the goals? Mission statement eventually what we're gonna do, achieve. Vision statement while you are kind of drawing the picture in your mind. So, okay, mission statement, ultimately you're gonna do this one. And mission statement is here, and then specific goal, aims, and then how can we reach out to these aims? Little bit, kind of, we wanna develop the mission statement. So school mission statement is like this, right? So I didn't bring it, but mission statements here, and then how can we achieve the mission statement with the goals and aims? That is kind of an aim. Little bit specific, but objectives is about specifically what's the object in the classroom, right? And so big picture objective is there, and then under the mission statement, and then goal is there, and then what? In the classroom, there is an object is there to achieve the goals and aims. And our aim is achieved and what? Accomplished, and what? Mission is accomplished. There's a 3 steps of think about first step, and then maybe before that, and then that is related to the purpose of the education, right? Why? And there is there, and then everything is in your mission statement. Even though it's not maybe short, it's very, very concise, but still maybe you can put some there is a educational statements there, and then specifically how can you achieve there, right? Educational goal is there, and then there is that's why we for the Christian educations, and then we need a specific biblical principle and theology of education, and then we can integrate this biblical principle and theology into our educations. And if you set this one, and then what is the next one? Second step is kind of skills and knowledge. We need skills and knowledge. What kind of knowledge you need? Content. This one is content. And mission statement is your goal is there, and then how we specifically do that, and think about, and you write down everything's online, and this one, what kind of content we need. What kind of content we need. And the class content provide knowledge and skills, right? And then think about maybe stage 3, and then knowledge and skill metrics, and then there's a lot of different class you can make a list. And what kind of activity, or first year, what kind of activity, between the class, what kind of activity. So that is kind of a design is there, and when teachers start the class, and they do the orientation, and they gotta remember and what we're gonna do with these classes, and then we're gonna know that. But maybe each class and assign some activity beforehand, right? That's kind of third step, and then knowledge is there, and then specify what kind of specific content, right? Classes and activities, and then you can develop the course. What kind of course are you going to develop? So, when I took the psychology here, and it was really hard, but at that time, I didn't speak English well, and then now, but still, it's worse than now, and then there's no listening skills and speaking skills, and then I cannot hear anything, so I still remember. And then I don't know how many you guys went through like me. And then when I came here, when I took the psychology class, introduction to psychology in junior college, and then I couldn't understand anything, just one sentence. He's an old gentleman, and then he explained something, and then he said, "Can you dig it?" So maybe in my English, like, do you understand? It's easier to me. At that time, can you dig it? So what does it mean that? And he used over and over every time. So after he explained something, and then that means that you understand it. I just got it. And that's my, it was really hard. So I couldn't understand that much, as lectures, and then usually I study with the books. while I was in college as well. And then that's why I read books and 4 times and study and then kind of memorize what is in page or what page and I know the basically and then I take a test and it was good though. And that is my studies and then it means that in the beginners I have to learn English, right? So people will not go to college and you gotta for the ESL students and then take English class in sort of college and there's a lot of levels about 2-3 years you gotta take it. Level 50.1, 50.2, level 51 like this. People do freshman English. And then if you take the freshman English in certain college, junior college, you don't have to take the English in college when you transfer, right? That is so. And then there is English class is very hard, and I also very struggled with my writing. And once, my English education was just to understand the grammar or the understanding understanding the whole content, right? And that's why we reading and understand what it means, but grammar helps us, right? And then we never talked any word in the classroom, and I heard from the teachers reading, but not from the natives, right? And then when I came here, and then it's like my writing is already like first kindergarten writing, simple sentence, and then I cannot make college kind of level writing, and then so I think the people to college level we had to take 4 classes, and then we could take a college level writings, and then once I turn in the paper and there's a learning center, so someone is sitting there, and when you show the kind of writing and they correct the people I turn in, once is for the years of class, and then she read my writing and my papers were really red. I cannot see the black because she corrected the red pen, and then I cannot see the black colors and all over it's red. It's really bloody. That's my experience. And then think about how can you, it's related to course development. How can they introduce the basic level and next level and then deeper level and higher level, and then there's a kind of a development. How can we do that? And for the Christian education, and then think about how can we, what's a Christian education? You gotta read the definitions, and then what kind of class, what's the sequence of classes like this? And then that is we gotta include everything though. Course development and what we need and how can we teach. And then so step 5, and then teach them and in the classroom and evaluate them. It doesn't work this in this way and in this way and with this method, and then we gotta change that evaluation. First step, second step, and maybe third step is kind of we can put together second step, and then fourth step, and then the fifth step is mean that the techniques mean that you can teach at the classroom and how students respond to the class. And we gotta evaluate. And then what is good or how can we evaluate? That's another way of the maybe way of the. So when you design the class and then curriculum, always there's evaluation and goes feedback and then correct like this, and that's why it's a circular. Step one, and through teaching and experience, experiment, and then evaluate and go back, and then probably and mission and aims and object, and then we gotta also it's hard to fix also to the mission statement, and then maybe if you change the mission statement and whole course we change. But specifically, usually what about where it's kind of hard, and then little bit consider with what how outcome is our and outcome is our kind of goals and objectives is different, and how from outcome, and then how can we do that? Change the goals and change objectives? Not really. And then reflect, and then how can we put them in? Yeah. So maybe there's a lot of different way of the curriculum development process, but this one is kind of gives some, but it means that evaluate after evaluating the classes, and then you gotta give them feedback, and you gotta make sure again. We gotta keep this class one out. We gotta change the class. How can we kind of align with our goals and missions? One of the examples that here, but it didn't mention about other, like we talk about the curriculums and explicitity, and then implicitity, and then what's extracurricular and non-curriculars. We don't talk about it, but that one is in the should be in the curriculum. This process. Another thing is that I learned from school is backward design by Grant Wiggins and Jay Mattis, and then that was kind of pretty interesting. So I used this design and class, and I learned this design in the classroom, and I made one of the kind of program, discipleship program. It was so hard. And there is a specific way, but I cannot give you a specific way. Then, but there is some idea about in your notes, and then you can do that. And here is first of all, they usually think about first one is there's always goal and aim and objectives, and then it start from here. But this backward design is identify desired result. What we are expecting, what is the outcome that we expect, right? And so that is also really important thing. So that's why outcome start from the outcome and then go one by one. So maybe there is established goals, and then what relevant goals and content standard and course or program objectives and learning outcome will design address, right? This we're gonna talk about this one. And why? Okay, I wanna get I want the student to get A in this class. That's good. And think about. And that's my desired outcome, and then how can you do that? How can we reach our goals, and then content, and then like this, and then another part is when you need to know that in these sections and understand what are the big ideas and what specific understanding about them are desired, what misunderstanding are predictable, right? That is kind of your understanding part. So when and what is that one? So you gotta figure it out. And some questions there, and then just understanding part, and another part, essential questions of what proactive question will foster inquiry, understanding, and transfer of learning. So what kind of question we can make? And then student will know what key knowledge and skills will student acquire as a result of this unit. And what should they eventually be able to do as a result of such knowledge and skills? And then finally we come down and student will be able to do something like that. That's the first stage. So first stage, we gotta learn what's the desired outcome. And for that one, and then there is some question part is there, right? And we can, and after that, and then if you identify the desired outcome and determine the acceptable evidence. Okay. We already said, and then do the based on the what? Outcome, you gotta check, student connect, we already said it. Through the questions, and then teaching, and then what? Eventually, student achieve this one, and then how can we do that? How can we know students achieving our goals? The outcome, yeah. There is we can see specific kind of indicators like this, performance test, and then through any performance test, will student demonstrate the desired understanding, how they understand the material, and how produce the outcome. By what criteria will performance of understanding will be judged? That's why specific criteria you gotta set. Student is doing good and not good. And so, what is the performance task that we could measure, right? Desired understanding outcome. And there is another evidence, maybe that is a common things, quiz, test, academic prompt, and observation, homework, and journals, and that is a kind of evidence how much you do that, and then just think about what is there and what you're gonna do, and at the end of student gonna do this one, and the second stage, evaluate what are they doing now. Specific how you gotta indicate the specific way that, or if they show this kind of thing, and then our education is successful, like that. That's why evidence. Here is stage 3, plan, learning experience, and instruction. And maybe there is a specific outcome indication that you gotta do that. How can we, there is a specific planning, right? That's why it's hard, and then not the goals, and what is the desired outcome is there, and then how can we evaluate this one? How can we support this one? Students are learning also some skills, knowledge, and understand of something, and then how can we know? And the second stage, and third stage, and then how can we teach? How can we teach? That means the learning activities, and then in the classroom, right? Just think about, you can see that one. So, learning activities, and then like this, and they have WHERETO, right? And help the student know where the unit is going and what is expected. Help the teacher know where the students are coming from. sometimes their interest, their knowledge and socioeconomic level is different, and then pre-exposure is different, right? How to know teachers, how to know students, right? And age, hold student and then hold their interest, meaning that when you're in the classroom, how can you get attention from the student? And how can you motivate them? How can keep their interest in going on like this? And then equip students, help them experience the key idea and explore the issues. How can we help them? Right? That is one of the important part. And then they could understand it and then experience it. And then R is provide opportunity to rethink and revise their understanding of work. Maybe they don't know, and then they can get a new knowledge, and then sometimes they are wrong, and then they have to correct. Another E is allows them to evaluate their work and then its implications, self-evaluations. So think about evaluation sometimes by teachers and by students and by administrations. Try to be objective. Sometimes it's hard to what's objective evaluation because people are really subjective. Sometimes they evaluate themselves with what's their preference, their orientation, even though they are not, right? So we gotta just think about their values. They they behave in a way, but they think that I'm behaving this way because the people think that they have value to this one, I have these values. So evaluations. And T be tailored, personalized to the different needs, interests, activities of learners. In the classroom, formal classroom, it's not easy. Maybe if you are really have hard for the student, maybe who don't understand in the primary, and maybe secondary education is possible, but it's a lot of teachers' work. And in college, if you just think about, and they come to school, and if they don't come to school, and they don't, also teacher just involve them too, but if they don't take a class, they don't take a test well, and they fail, like this, right? Just it's hard to kind of personalize the lesson, but still, some settings are really effective, and because they got really attention. And think about when you teach something in classroom, and then some students are really understand quickly and advanced, right? But some students are very slow, and then because depends on whether it's intellectual ability, sometimes previous experience, and sometimes it's a different though. And be organized to maximize initials and then sustain engaging as well as the effective learning. So how can we maximize organize to maximize all things, right? And there is kind of organization that there is think about, and first of all outcome is there, and then there is a second method. Okay, I desired outcome is here, and student gonna understand this one, and then learn and this one, and then second, and then if in the classroom and there's a specific evidence is there, I look for the evidence, right? Okay, all students is gotten above 70%, and quiz, and then every test, and then I'm the your goal of education is met like this, and depends on how you look at the education evidence, and then third, and then try to give a specific instruction and how can you do that. There is pictures, and then based on what I teach in the 1, 2, 3 steps, and then really quickly to really organize it, try to answer that questions, and then here is more and detailed. There is a brief and a stage 1 we already talked about, and then here is, and maybe you can see the note, and then also established goal, and then already established goal in the outcomes, what are we expecting, and what are the essential questions to be considered, and what understanding desired, and what key knowledge skills the student acquire as a result of student know about some like this, and then there is about specific terms, and then maybe student learn about specific types of curriculums, and then like this, and then there's a specific knowledge is there, and so later on the student can able to do make a curriculum design. They can make a curriculum design a curriculum like this, and then there is identify design the result. There is a specific performance task and other evidence, and how what evidence really shows that student understand. Okay, student understands how student shows that they learn, they understand, right? There is so evidence here, and then sometimes, and there is self-reflection and self-assessments there, and there is a specific idea about how learning plan is so interesting, but still just that's why backward. Outcome first, and then how evaluation and learning activities. So usually previous is our goal and missions here, and then what's the content of education, and then what teach them and evaluate them, and like this, but backward. And what? That's a backward design. And that is a basic idea about how we make curriculums, and about here is Kenneth Gangle. So here is a Christian education, and then he said Christian education is recognized the family centeredness of Christian nurture throughout Scripture, and Christian education is nowadays was the family doesn't take responsibility for their children's education, especially spiritual education. They most family kind of entrust their children to the church. So I remember the according to Barna research, and less than 9% of parents, Christian parents, and they wanna have kind of spiritual communication and spiritual activity at home. So less than 10%, around 9%. So usually, but when you read the Bible and basic principles, we already talked about, and family in charge of the parent was in charge of the education in Old Testament period in early churches, and school is coming out, and then school took over the education, and kind of parent role is supporting roles, but But nowadays, kind of education system is different from, maybe supporting more, but still parents influence on their directional life and their values, and it's really important. He said Christian education reaffirms the centrality of biblical revelation in the educational process, and then we gotta know the biblical principle, and then we can use it. Bible is basic authority of our education, right? And reveals the example of Jesus as a teacher, a mentor, and leader. Who is Jesus Christ? And Christian education, because eventually we want to follow Jesus Christ. That's a Christian. That's why. Rethink the dynamic roles of the Holy Spirit in the teaching learning process. That is a different from the general educations or non-Christian educations, and the Spirit is always help us to understand. Maybe if you want to do the kind of spiritual education at home and church, maybe if you want Sunday school and small group, and maybe if you want to teach the student at the Christian school, and then that's all. We acknowledge or admit that the role of the Holy Spirit. Responded to Great Commission by balancing evangelism and education ministry. How can we reach out to our neighbors and then people in other countries? Great Commission, right? Jesus Christ said, okay, go to the world and make them disciples. And that's a Great Commission. How can we balance with people said they need they need the gospel, and they need something to eat like this. How can we? People really emphasize it was conservative Christians, they need to learn the gospel, Jesus Christ, and then people said they are dying, so they need support, right? That is a kind of education ministry, and we need to kind of balance. How can we do that? Refocus on education and spiritual growth projects mature disciples. Eventually, Christian education is really they need to grow and mature follower, become a mature follower of Jesus Christ. Just think about this kind of whole picture of wise Christian education by Kenneth Campbell, and then it's really, we can see the parent roles, and then we can see the biblical foundations, and we can see who is the model, right? Who is looked up. But Christian education is not just for the school education, Christian schools, and maybe just church ministry. Setting is different, right? But if you want to teach the student as Christian schools, and if you don't have sound theological foundation and then understanding of the Bible, it's hard to integrate the knowledge they're teaching in the classroom with the faith, Christian faith. That's why teaching is very important, because we always think about this one, and then as a parent, and then a parent think about how can they support their children to mature, to help them to be a mature follower of Jesus Christ. Yeah, that is another example of the Christian education, right? So keep that in mind, this what is Christian education. So here is a diagram about how can Christian education is kind of how can the Christian education is practice, right? Practice, and then always think about maybe your interest is different from someone is interested in ministry, and someone is interested in different work, and someone is interested in school, and maybe skills and approach might be different, but our basic foundations and doesn't change. So application is different, but our goal is to our education is to integrate education with the Christian faith, right? And that's why think about there is a curriculum. We need curriculums there. The curriculum is really integrated with what? Christian faith. Maybe if you go to a Christian school like Biola, and then they have to take 20 units of classes, maybe and 7 classes, and then maybe and you gotta go to chapel a certain time. If you miss a certain times and then you fail, you gotta do something else to make up. And there is a lot of different some activities there, and sometimes mission activity, mission trips there, and different Christian activities there, and a lot of professor. Usually professor should be a Christian, and then they need some idea about how Christians should live in the earth, on earth, right? In the world, and then that's the basic idea, and then they have sound theologies, and then if the theologies not fit to the school theology, they can work together. Right? That's why curriculum is really important. And maybe long time ago, some people maybe there and they developed curriculums, and then there's curriculum is there, and there was the curriculum is kind of experienced by student in the classroom, and why they're learning the knowledges, and why they learn the skills, and what their faith is nurtured by teachers, by knowledge, and by skills, right? That's why it's really important. And classroom is not just deliver the knowledge to the students, and then we gotta take care of the students and how they can do. And then there is, if you learn in the classroom, and then what? Students need community. So maybe how they kind of learn together, right? And how can they engage with them like this? And then there is the community level and classroom level, and there is a curriculum level. It's learning. How can we put together and help the student to learn knowledge and skills? So there is really important. That's why we already talk about the Christian worldview and how you understand the world, and then it's really important. And basically, I don't know whether you guys have been or not, and then Christian worldview is like creation, God created the universe, and then the fall. And Paul kind of broke the covenant with God, and then human is separate from God, and then God wants to recover, restore the relationship, and reconcile with the human being, and what? Redemption. He prepared in the Messiah, Savior, Jesus. He sent his only Son to reconcile by paying the cost of your sin. So he died on the cross and resurrected. And that is a basic idea. And then he ascended to heaven and he said he's going to come back. That's consummation. Eventually, God's kingdom is there, and then all Christians live together there. That is a basic idea about Christian worldview. And that is the idea that should be in the curriculum. Right? And I want to put some other things, and here is some curriculum and classroom, and then community, church community, and other small group communities, and then whether, and but what about still maybe we can put the home, but we already talked about Christian education. In Christian education, parent role is very important, especially for the faith, children's faith, right? And nowadays, a lot of the young people kind of turn their back from to the church, and then they gave up their faith. Maybe there's a lot of reason, I don't know why they are disappointed to the church, and maybe they never understand the basic doctrine of Christianity because they went to church because of their parents. We don't know. Or they are turning back from to their faith, and then some people are becoming cultural Christians, and then they left the church. We call it exodus. That's why, and maybe it's part of a community, but if I put another one is maybe parent roles. How can they do that? I know parents are really busy, right? That's a part of my ministry, my work, and then I try to help the parents to support their children's spirituality and help them to grow in Christ. And so that's my ministry. And then during the once a month, sometime in summertime, and family go to other countries and serve others. And but when they kind of going together and then spend the time together, it's easy. But I wanted to do at home weekly and day by day. It was hard work, right? It's not easy though. It's not easy. That's the basic idea. But we needed to know that I know churches, role is very important for the Christian education, but our parents' role is very important to establish the basic foundation of Christian education. Just think about childhood, right? And young teens and young adulthood. So when they are in the teen and when they don't develop the Christian identity, and it's hard. They was youth and going through a lot of things, and they don't know what the church. A lot of people maybe they will. That's why a lot of churches try to make it fun and try to adapt to their preference, and then sometimes I don't know whether which is churches, and then I know we visiting other churches, and then my kids are 25, 26, and they are kind of between last millennium and was the beginning of the Gen Z, but they said was a 2000 years born is really different from them. They are born in 97 and 98, but still we went to church last Sunday, and then they never seen the kind of church. they said it's really weird because sometimes there's traditions there and really we respect and that's a heritage, but sometimes we give up our traditions because it's outdated. That's true, but sometimes even though outdated and then nowadays and they try to something meaningful and then where they gonna find, right? And then the church has and really reflection time and then they would different ways. They can stand and then they can pray one way, and another way they can read the Bible. So give the word around 5 minutes. And then backside, and there is a communion section, and then individually, not as a body of Christ, individually they can do it, respond it. And they have candle lighting. I don't know. I never seen in Protestant churches, but it's pretty much in Catholic churches and other Orthodox churches, but we don't have. And candle lighting is here, and then people go and light the candle. I don't know what it means. And there's four sections there, and there's a high round table is there, each table has 2-3 chairs there, and maybe some people drinking coffee while they do worship, and like this. I think so they adopt a lot of young generation cultures, postmodernism, but I don't know how far they can go. There is a kind of even though sometimes it's a really good idea and sometimes it's really needed for religion. And if we try to adapt to that little by little, then we talk about the syncretism, and then we create we are Christian's identity here, and then new things are coming in, and then put together and produce different things. Oh, this is Christianity, and then it's a totally different, and then there's just syncretism, right? Yeah. Basically, today we are talk about Christian education, what is the curriculum foundations, what is the curriculum, and then we talk about basic idea of Christian education, and then we talk about how can we make curriculums, right? And then Christian education is coming Kenneth Carmel, and then he gives a basic idea about Christian education, and then this one is kind of how Christian education is executed and practiced. And there's through the curriculum and through the classroom and through the communities, and then how can we make it effective, and then what's the basic elements so we need to consider. All right, so maybe it gives you basic idea, and then the books that I usually use for this class, and then there's introduce different model, kind of complicated, that's why I don't use it, but instead of that one I use this models. Any question about curricular foundations, and then just let me know, and then I hope that you guys, and then curriculum foundation is kind of the foundation that we discuss, and then coming to curriculum, there's a kind of through the curriculum foundation we gotta assign each sections, and it's really basic foundational curriculum foundation, and then we're gonna talk about how can we practice like basic philosophy in our educations, and then there's a practical approach of our educations, and then some theories there, and then we're gonna talk about the rest of the class. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. And then I'm gonna travel from tonight in almost 3 weeks. So I already recorded 2 lectures, and this is my third one. And then 3 weeks later, and we're gonna see again, and then talk about kind of a brief and summarize. And if you have any questions, we could talk about it, and then we could move to next lecture. While I'm gone, and so still you guys and take care of yourself and the work and the studies, and then your family. God bless you, and see you